Hello, everyone. So, yesterday I was able to go see an early screening of Black Adam. Fortunately, falling a little bit behind of time just with everything going on, but I finally have had time to let my thoughts marinate about this movie. But this movie is about 2 hours long. Of course, it stars Dwayne The Rock Johnson as the titular character, Teth Adam, Black Adam, and we have Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate in this. The Justice Society's in this movie. I've been excited but also very nervous about this movie. There's been a lot of news around it that just the more and more I saw about it, the more and more I was getting a little nervous about it. But yes, now that my thoughts are marinated a little bit on the movie, let me get into my review for DC's latest entry into the cinematic universe, Black Adam. So there was long build up to this movie, like about 15 years that they've been trying to make the Black Adam movie with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. There's also too just been a lot of hype around this movie from The Rock himself, talking about power changes and just dynamics within the DC universe changing throughout this movie. Just a lot of very, very bold claims. But this movie takes place like maybe 10% in the past, like 5,000 years ago, when Black Adam first got his powers, but most of it takes place during the present day when he reawakens after 5,000 years of being gone from, of course, his homeland. He is awoken by almost like a Laura Croft-like character who's trying to protect her homeland and abolish a very, very supremacist and also to just colonialist group that is stripping their country of resources. She accidentally awakens Black Adam, and he just basically enforces very strict, horrible, brutal enforcement from 5,000 years ago to make certain that he is the protector of his homelands. And the movie kind of goes a little bit from there, of course, with the absolute carnage that he's dishing out. Amanda Waller, who how now basically kind of outlines a bunch of ops, and one of those teams is the Justice Society of America. She sends them to go deal with the problem of Black Adam. They know about his existence and basically what he's capable of and who he is. And this team consists of Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Atom Smasher, and Cyclone. So I was very, very excited to see this team come into the light of things, but now is kind of where I get a bit into spoiler territory. I'm not going to cross into the spoilers, but there are going to be a few things that I definitely have to talk about that really shape my thoughts about this movie. So I'm going to be very, very discreet about it. No spoilers, no nothing like that. You don't have to worry about it. So there were times where, well, I'm going to have to say overall, this movie, I do not think Black Adam is a good movie, but I did have a lot more fun with it than I thought I was going to. For the whole 2 hours, it is very, very fast paced, but I did find this movie just had a ton of pacing issues, especially when it came around storytelling and a lot of these characters' backgrounds. But it is absolutely action packed. There's lots of fight scenes, and most of them are pretty decent, but the directing in this film is something that really, really holds it back. I found the first 5 minutes of this movie, which is basically a little introduction and backstory into Black Adam's character, how he first got his powers, was something just so brushed over and rushed and just kind of horribly presented. There's this really bad like brightness filter that they add to it where everything is just so bright and it's distracting from what's supposed to be happening in on the screen. And yeah, it just it wasn't promising right from the start of this movie. But when it gets a little bit more into The Rock, I do think he has that intimidation factor down as Black Adam. There's a lot of things that he does right in the character, but I still, like most of the time, and especially when he's talking, I just see and hear The Rock. I don't see Teth Adam. And I think a lot of that too has to do with you're not getting any people's eyebrows or anything like that. But Black Adam always speaks in like proper English, and he's very short, quick, to the point with his they're not even really quips, they're just promises is what he dishes out. But in this movie, he's definitely talking like The Rock does. There's a lot of smack talk, there's a lot of sarcasm, things like that I just really didn't like. All of the human side characters in this I found were just pointless. They made horrible decisions that made them really unlikable in a lot of ways and put a lot of people in danger. There's a little kid who wants to get him to basically say, "Oh, you're a superhero. You need a catchphrase. You need to be doing this like all the other Justice League heroes do." Which one I don't like because he's not like them at all. And he kind of goes down this line. Black Adam doesn't need to be whipping out catchphrases like he kind of does in this movie. There's a little bit of humor that's similar in a sense to like what Arnold was doing in Terminator 2 with the Hasta La Vista and things like that, but it just didn't, I found, fit with the character of Black Adam, or at least how I have always seen him portrayed from comics, video games, animated TV shows, things like that. So I don't want to say The Rock is a bad performance, but just a lot of the writing in this really hindered what I felt made Black Adam from all the other source material given to him throughout the past like 50 plus years. There's a lot of lore changes to his character too, where I found this movie made the Wizards of Shazam seem absolutely incompetent, especially when it came to how Black Adam is freed from his 5,000 years of being away. I thought it was just one of the stupidest things. It's just a ginormous plot hole that made no sense to me. Again, too, it just made the wizard seem completely incompetent to me and kind of unlikable going forward when it comes to the future of the Shazam movies. Yeah, I wasn't able to get into any of the human characters. There's a lot of side characters in this movie, especially the most obvious villain reveal of all time. I thought in this, and just very wasted villains, almost like Crow from the Eternals. I found was kind of like the villain in this, where it was just kind of I wasn't able to really understand the point of having that build up. There was some cool things that it seemed like they were going to do really cool things with world building in this, but they never touched upon it at all. A lot of the characters in the Justice Society don't really have backgrounds, and they just feel like you get to know them on the surface level, and there's a lot there, but they just didn't get into it to make them interesting enough. I found that they made Adam Smasher just an absolute joke character, and someone that, again, is just really tough to root for because he's just so reckless and not redeemable in really any ways. He has one really cool move in one of the final fight scenes, but that's really all I can say about it. Hawkman was done very damn well. I found they had the hot-headedness of him done very, very well. I can't wait to see more of him because I found the actor did a really good job. His fight scenes were great. They did a great job with his weaponry. I thought he was really cool. Cyclone is one of the standouts where, again, too, you don't really get to know a lot about her character. She seems chill as a person, but that's really all you get to know. Her powers were showcased very, very well done. But again, there's going to be some slow-mo effects that I'm going to talk a little bit about further on, but I just found all the slow-mo in this movie was very, very poorly shot, and her scenes were cool, but again, it's just mostly focusing on like her presence and her person rather than the powers and doing something cool with her powers in terms of the slow-mo scene. But overall, I did really, really like her. But the standout and the main reason I went to go see this movie was, of course, for Dr. Fate and Pierce Brosnan. He does an amazing performance as the character. Unfortunately, they do something. DC's been doing this for like 5 years with Dr. Fate in every single medium. They do the same decision with him, and I'm not happy that they went down that line. But yeah, I get it at the same time. I found they did a really, really cool thing with Dr. Fate. With Nobu, they don't mention Nobu by name, but they do mention that the helmet possesses the wearers. I know a lot of people were a little concerned that he was going to come off looking just like Doctor Strange. They do this really cool geometrical kind of ambiance and effects when he uses his powers that I thought was just very, very cool. Great CGI, great visuals. Throughout most of this movie, but when it comes to Dr. Fate, definitely the standouts, and I love the visual aspects of his character within this film. It just looked beautiful. And of course, too, Pierce Brosnan he ate up the role. He's very, very good in it, and Dr. Fate was definitely the highlight of this movie for me. Lots of cool things that they did with the character, and I really hope that we get to see more Dr. Fate in the DC universe down the line. But yeah, when it comes to the fight scenes within this movie, again, I thought the slow-mo in this movie, all of it was just trash and really, really poorly done. There are a few very good fight scenes, and the kills are absolutely brutal. The first kill that Black Adam gets is straight like Mortal Kombat Raiden fatality, which is absolutely awesome. But I heard that this movie was originally rated R when the first screening came from it, because Black Adam, there's a lot of points where it looks like the punches that he's throwing are like splitting people in half, knocking people's heads, smashing their faces in, knocking people's heads off, things like that. But what they did, they had to make this a PG-13 movie, so it looks like a lot of the times what they did was they zoomed in enough that you didn't see that carnage from the punches. Like, you could tell they're hard punches and they fucked up these people, but you don't see like that blood and gore. So a lot of the times the camera is just way too zoomed in for you to really tell what's going on, and it just in and out is how the camera work was going within this movie, and it was something a little disorientating and something that really took you, well, I don't want to say out of the action, but way too into the action to see really everything that was going on. And that was one of the directorial issues that I had with this movie. Again, too, it's just a lot of characters making really, really dumb decisions within it. But I did like the absolute carnage and brutality of Black Adam when it came down to the fighting. There is something with his lore that they changed quite a bit, where one of my favorite panels from the Shazam comics is when Billy first tricks Black Adam into saying Shazam, and it disintegrates his character because he's been alive for so long. That's not going to ever happen in these movies going down because of a decision that they make within this film. It's something that I was really hoping to see in live action, but we're just never going to get it. So, yeah, a little disappointed about that. But it's really, with everything taken together with Black Adam, I did have some fun with it. A lot of things you can joke around with. The fight scenes are fun enough to get you through it, but there's just a lot of side characters that really take the life away from this movie. A lot of things that, well, the pacing of this movie is poured. Um, there's just a lot of things that need to be explained a lot more world building that could have been done within it that they just absolutely sidelined. So with really everything taken together, I'm gonna have to give Black Adam a 4.5 out of 10. I would watch it again with friends, just kind of to laugh at it, have a decent time, joke about it in that sense. In terms of getting into the character, the stories, things again, I'm not going to. I might like watch YouTube compilations of Dr. Fate's powers, because again, I absolutely love the portrayal of the character. But yeah, there's not really a lot here to bring me back to this film, nor recommend it, nor even say that it changed anything for the DC universe, because it didn't at all. There is an after credit scene that I do recommend sticking around for. It's something very, very cool and something I'm very excited for. You might not get excited for it, it's depending on like your choice for the reveal, the actor, everything like that. But that's all that I'm going to say about it. But do stick around for it. I thought it was something very, very cool and easily one of the best moments of the film. But if you've seen Black Adam, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. And of course, if you like this review, definitely give it a thumbs up, and you can check out everything I do on the, I'll link some play this laptop here for convenience sake. Thank you for subscribing and clicking that little bell so you know when I upload new videos. And if you want to check out the description of this video and my channel bio, there's a link to the Media Mountain, which is my Discord where we talk about movies, video games, comic books, TV, pretty much everything that's awesome in this world. So you definitely join that amazing community, help make it even more amazing than this already. And yeah, just awesome, guys.
Sky blue eyes, I see a world behind them. No more time sinking into the silence.